I just hit 75,000 words. 75,030 words. I'm so excited. I am so excited. Okay. I don't know why that's a marker, but it is. I have 221 pages. It's late. It's 11:30, which isn't super late, but I've been writing for a long time, and I did some creative brainstorming today, so my brain is a little tired, so I think I'm gonna finish up this paragraph and then probably pick it up in the morning because I am still trying to hit small goals, but I really wanted to hit 75,000 tonight, and I did. No, that reflects really badly. That is the update, and I am trying to be quiet because everybody is asleep. So I will update you guys better in the morning. Hey everyone, it's February 10th, 2025, which is crazy. I didn't film any in January. It's kind of been a rough transition of a year for me, so I haven't started off strong really, but I did hit a big goal that I was looking forward to. Anytime I reach and like do another 10,000, it's very exciting. So the last video y'all would have seen from me was me hitting 70,000 words, which was so cool, and I always love hitting, you know, the next 10,000 words up. So we're starting this vlog with an announcement of I hit 80,000 words. I didn't film that 10 because it was throughout the month of January, just kind of having a lot of personal stuff going on, figuring things out, so I didn't really feel like videoing or kind of taking note really of detail of that. Just that period, I was mostly focused on just writing what I needed to kind of help me out. But that being said, we're going to start February off with 80K. Hey, hi, hello, welcome to my channel, Write with Cass, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit since I haven't in a while. So the last we spoke, I had gone to 70,000 words, which was amazing. I was so over the moon about that. As I've mentioned, I'm pretty sure before, this project has taken a long time to get through, so the fact that I've really like hit the ground running and had a really good writing streak was so awesome and was so great, and I was so happy with it. However, where I'm at right now is, well, it's May, and it's not that I haven't written. Actually, I have a pretty big chunk of words added. I'm currently at 98,009 words, which is so exciting that I'm so close to 100K, and I really wanted to get that moment on video. So I made myself get back to work. A little bit of background why I haven't really been updating you guys through the past 70 to 90,000 words was I hit not just a writer's block, but like kind of a creative block in general. I had a really hard time working through different parts of the story, but when I would like work on a section, I felt so great that I got it done, and I was like so excited for the next part, and I just wanted to keep writing, but I had so much life stuff going on with work and everything that I was just so bogged down and that I didn't get to film. And I have grown to really like love filming, and I've kind of run into I feel kind of guilty if I am not filming, you know, if I'm not updating or recording this, because a big part of why I'm doing this is I want a record for myself to go back and look at when I am done with these books, and it's kind of helped me like keep going in a way. So I felt like if I didn't have the time to record, I didn't have the time to write. So it was a very weird kind of headspace I had for a while, and I just wanted to work through that, and I wanted to sit with that and just process that, and I made myself write a little bit while not recording, and I did not have time, and I really didn't have time to write, so I was writing in really small increments over these past few months, and I didn't have time. I really didn't. If I had time, I was so exhausted, and I just couldn't think of what to write next. Even though my outline was right there, I was like, the words are not coming to my head. So just kind of a, I guess, PSA to everybody out there, writer's block. If it happens, it happens. You will work through it. I can kind of tell on the days where I was really struggling, you know, the writing and just the way the words flow together are not my best, but at least they're on the page, and that is what I kept telling myself every time I kept rereading things and going back over things. The fact that I got kind of a really bad first draft in this section, I mean, yes, it is a first draft, it was all bad. The part that I was working on was extra bad, but it was really challenging, and I loved that challenge of figuring it out, and I rewrote the scene a couple different ways, and I ultimately went with what I have now. That being said, it's still needs a lot of love and attention later on. And I started getting ideas for like draft 2 of how I wanted to fix things, and so I started a new document where it was, okay, this chapter I want to fix this, and I just kind of started writing down all those notes. Not that I had the this absolutely sucks, I just need to like rewrite it everything right now. I had a little bit of that, but I just knew I need to just leave it for now, get through the first draft, and then I can go back and work on the rewrite sections in draft 2. And so now I have a running document of notes, which has made me feel a little bit better about going into draft 2 with this project, knowing that I have like my real in-time thoughts of, oh, I want to change this, but I need to keep going or I'll get stuck in that kind of loophole. So that's been like kind of a new nice addition that I've had to my writing process lately, of just, okay, this is something I know I need to fix, I'm just gonna jot it down and keep going, because this project I tend to get stuck in those like editing rabbit holes where I just kind of go down the tunnel, and then next thing I know I have revised where I know I needed to keep going, because then I just want to keep revising, because I actually like that stage a lot. Yeah, that's kind of my update. I wrote a big battle scene, so that was really fun to piece together. The battle scene was kind of like a big challenge, and that was the one I rewrote a few times to try to figure out how I wanted the whole strategy of the battle to kind of play out, how to translate that well. So that was really fun. It was a new type of battle scene that I haven't written before, and so that was like a really fun challenge. And I kind of wish I did film it, because I got so frustrated with that scene, and then I'd be like, I figured it out, and I'd be so happy about it. It was just a roller coaster of emotions, much like where I'm at now. Like I mentioned, I have 98,009 words. That brings my total page count to 278. I'm aware that in a physical book that would be more pages. However, I have my margins pretty normal like you would a paper, just for now, so that way, you know, there's less pages to scroll through, because it becomes a lot of pages to a certain point where keeping track of which page it's on, kind of a lot. I know it'll be like more pages one day than what my laptop is currently at, which is an exciting thought. I wonder how long it's going to take to pass 100,000 words, which is kind of the goal. Minus the 9 words, I would say I know I am 2,000 words away, and when I was really consistent with writing, I could easily kind of get over 2,000 words in a day, but since it's been a while, I am not going to push it. And I have to run to the grocery store, so I might not get all 2,000 words today. So I'm hoping between today and tomorrow I can get 200,000 words, and hopefully I can kind of start getting over this writer's block a little bit and just kind of get back to, you know, my passion, which is writing. And on a side note, these past couple of days, because I have felt so just like I cannot work on the story for a second longer, I switched gears and I started world building for my next project, which is Project LD, as of now is what I'm calling it, and I'm so excited. I've had, you know, my Pinterest board for that forever, and getting to kind of start world building and building that outline in those characters just kind of relit the love I had for writing in a way, and kind of lifted my spirits a little bit to jump back into Project KJ. So I'm really excited to just keep going on both projects. I'm just going to kind of world build and work on that outline very, very slowly while I'm finishing up the tail end of Project KJ, which is so exciting. Okay, now I'm gonna get to writing. Okay, so I did 2 writing sprints. Oh, I'll take these off. I knew there was one scene I wanted to go back and add just a little bit too, and that was my first writing sprint, and that scene was in the middle of the book, kind of towards the end of the middle, and that brought me to 98,602 words, which is So fun. And then my second writing sprint was I wanted to add something to pretty much the beginning of the book, a pretty early on addition to a chapter, and I just finished putting that in, so that brought me up to 99,389 words. So yes, so I'm getting closer. And the page count is 282, so I think I've added some pages. That being said, I'm really excited. I've really loved what I'm adding so far, and I think especially the addition to the beginning is definitely helping to shape the story in a little bit more of how I originally wanted the book to go, so that is really exciting to kind of see the vision of this project really starting to take its shape in a way. I know that's like a weird thing to say, like this point in the project, you know, it's already been taking shape, but for the first time it kind of feels like I am close to that original vision of the book. Hey everyone, so it's the next day and I didn't end up writing more yesterday. I had a bunch of house chores and stuff to do, and frankly today I'm feeling a little run down, so I don't plan on having like a huge productive day. I'm gonna kind of take it a little easier today, but I do want to get some writing in, and I do want to get to 100,000 words, so let's see if we can do it today. So yesterday I left off at 99,389 words, so I'm really close. I'm only 611 words shy, so that's really exciting. I think I can manage that. And yesterday I mentioned how I added a little bit to the beginning of the book, so I'm going to start with reading through that because I knew I needed to kind of connect the two sections a little bit better, let them flow, and there was a little bit to that beginning that I added in that wasn't there. I just kind of skipped through it to get to the dialogue and stuff, so I needed to set that scene just a little bit better, and I did some of that yesterday, but I ran out of time and I needed to add a couple more sentences to that, so I'm going to start with that, and then once I'm done with that, should not be the 600 words. That's going to take like 3 sentences at most, hopefully, and then I'm going to jump back to where I actually am, kind of in the end of Act 2, and write that, so hopefully I can actually start on Act 3 maybe soon. Oh my gosh, that just hit me. Sorry, that actually just hit me that I'm about to start Act 3 soon. Whoa. Okay, that's gonna be really fun. I know my word count seems really high, but I have written this book far from chronological order, so there actually are parts of Act 3 already written. The epilogue is already written. There are parts of Act 3 that are in this document, but I still haven't written the bulk of it. I haven't written the start of Act 3. I've only kind of written the end of the book, so that's exciting to actually start. I have never written a book like Project KJ before. The other 2 books I've written have been in chronological order. This one has not been in chronological order by any means. It stresses me out, but it's also kind of freeing in a way, and I've had a lot of fun, and this project has been anything but linear. It's kind of been chaotic. The fact that I'm like gonna be officially done with Act 2 soon and officially starting Act 3 is kind of a bizarre thought because I've been bouncing around so much, but getting to be like officially done with Act 2 is kind of a weird thought for me. This has been like the trouble area of the book. Okay, this whole book's been a trouble area, but like, you know what I mean? Like the middle of the book, there's a lot of planning and thinking about how to make it not be slow, or, you know, sagging middle syndrome. Like I put a lot of effort into making the middle of this book anything but that. Hopefully that's how it reads off, so I know getting to be like done with it's gonna be really fun. But I also really enjoyed working on the middle of this book. I did not enjoy writing the first part of this book until, I don't even know, try 17. Act 2 has been so much fun, and the fact that I'm almost done with it's kind of sad in a way, but there will be many drafts, so I'll get to work on it again. I'm actually really excited for Act 3, and so I need to like sit down and actually write it and finish it, and oh my goodness, that's kind of a crazy thought. I think when it comes to writing a first draft, I know I'm not the only one, but I tend to really get in my head in a, I know it's not going to be perfect kind of way, but the act of kind of going through that first draft is, to me, in my head, has always seemed like it needed to be like a linear process. You know, you're telling yourself the story first. So for me to write this out of order has really taught me a lot. It took what I had learned about writing a first draft and kind of just threw everything out the window. But writing this book out of order and writing this story has taught me so much. I am calling this my, you know, official first draft, but I have been writing this project for so long, and I have started over so so many times. In the act of like failing to get it right on that first draft and being stuck in that loop, I think in a way, looking back, really helped me figure out where the story needed to go and what it needed to be to get it to this point. I'm already like looking back on that early stages of this book with such a different attitude, because in the middle of it, where you're struggling to get a first draft out of the page, it's really frustrating. And looking back now, I'm really thankful that I did fail so many times, because I got the character voices that I wanted. In a way, it felt like I had to shake the characters from my other book out of my system to be able to get to these character voices. And jumping from that project to this project so soon, it felt like that was something that needed to happen in a way, because it just felt too much like those characters instead of the characters in this book. And so that was something I kept running into. In my head, the way these scenes laid out were so much more fun and they played out in a much smoother way, but anytime I'd write them, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like this was where the story needed to go. It didn't feel like that was like a good enough start to get the book where I needed to go. And yes, it is a first draft, but this is like just embodied of a lot of drafts. So I've definitely learned a lot, and from this project alone, which is really exciting because I know you learn so much with each step of every project. I mean, to me, this is my third book, so it's definitely taught me a lot, and I had such a quick turnaround from the last book to this book, and I think I learned a lot from how to switch from project to project with that. So it's been really exciting to just be able to keep going. Yeah, I think milestones feel really big with this project because it's taken so long, whereas the first two experiences I had were relatively quick. And so for this, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm about to finish Act 2. Feels so great because I've spent a couple years now, and getting to get to like at the end and seeing the end is inspiring in a way, and like it is really motivational, and it makes me just want to sit down and write. So thanks for listening to my monologue. I'm gonna start writing, and hopefully I have a really good update for you guys in a little bit. First writing sprint done, and it was in fact not just a few sentences. I'm currently sitting at 99,859 words, and I'm really happy with how the scene ended up wrapping up, and it flows so much better now, and I think it was a good morsel to add into the beginning of the story. I had planned to add it on the next draft, but I just went ahead and added it anyways. In other news, I'm going to find the WD-40 for this chair because it will not stop making those sounds anytime I move, and I move a lot, so that's on the list today. And now I'm going to jump all the way to the end of Act 2, and I'm going to continue where I left off on that section of the book. How do you describe this motion? Chin on the... yeah, okay. I just hit 100,000 words. Ah! Yay! And I'm celebrating with my dog. I'm gonna take him potties, and then I'm going to get back to it. I'm so excited. This is crazy. So I'm at 100,001 Word that is 284 pages. I gotta go let him out, but I'm so excited. If you made it to the end of this video, I want to say a huge thank you, and if you feel like following me along on my writing journey, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you want to share where you're at in your story, feel free to share down below, and I will see you in the next one where I'm starting the third act of my novel. So I'm getting to the end of the book, so come along and see me hopefully finish this book rather soon. So I'll see you next time. Bye!